Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we Get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Lone Star State. It is Texas Motor Speedway here this evening for the Premium Stock Car Racing League, as each and every single one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. As qualifying underway right now, drivers laying down their quick time, trying to set themselves up for a good day here at the Speedway, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll, ready to go to battle here in just a couple more moments, as qualifying is quickly coming to an end. Each driver getting their final laps in, and we'll get ready to set the stage here for our A main feature event, which I believe is 167 laps of racing action. 160 laps of just non-stop amazing bumper-to-bumper action here on Peacemaker Gaming, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great show, and these guys are going to put on an amazing event for us here this evening. And if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor right now. Smash that thumbs up button here on the broadcast. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as we get ready to set these drivers up and we get ready to rock and roll. We get ready to go to work here this evening for what will be a great night of racing action, as they'll get lined up down pit side and we'll get ready to roll out there on the Speedway. But first, we'll get a quick word in from Lonnie Crider, man, with our opening command to fire engines here this evening.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Alrighty, shout out there to Lonnie coming in, giving us the command to fire up these engines, and let's go racing, baby. Let's get after it. Gentlemen, let's go have some fun. Let's have a good night, a clean night of just good, hard, amazing racing action here this evening, as each and every one of these drivers hoping to try to put themselves up and into victory lane. There's going to be a little bit of rubbing. There's going to be a little bit of scrubbing. If you guys watched the truck race last night, or if you watched the I believe it was the Xfinity, or I guess it's not the Xfinity series anymore. I don't even know what the heck it's called now. What is the new Xfinity series called? I can't even remember now. But nonetheless, amazing races, really difficult racetrack. It'll be interesting to see if it plays out a lot like it did here today, and if it plays out like it could in this race. I don't know. I'm having a stroke. What is going on here? What is going on here? It'll be interesting to see if this race will play out a lot like those races where, you know, the track is really just trying to get rubber down in that second lane. Drivers are rolling around that bottom groove and getting really loose, slip sliding around. We could see a few, you know, single car wrecks. We could see a few really big wrecks, some heavy hits out there, and a lot of tore up race cars out there on the Speedway. Now, luckily enough here for these drivers, they have a quick repair. They do have a quick repair in their back pocket that they can use only once here this evening. So if you get absolutely tore up, your car is completely destroyed, you can get it quickly repaired, get back into the race, and basically try your luck again. Unlike the NASCAR Truck Series or like the Xfinity Series here earlier today, I mean, you get tore up, your night is done, and we saw that through the grass. Now, I don't think the grass is going to do what it did last night or today to these race cars, and I'm sure we'll see a few drivers go through the infield, but you're definitely not going to see these cars get tore up and absolutely destroyed like they have so far this weekend at the real-life Texas Motor Speedway. But it'll be interesting to see what these cars will do, as we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to roll here, as starting on the pole in the 22 machine, that is Abram Ghostin. Ghostin with the pole position here this evening. To his outside will be that Great Lakes Sim number 50 machine of William George. Brad Neer will start there in position number 3. To his outside of the Clemson Tigers number 3 machine, that is Jonathan Elardo. Starting back in that 5th position, that is the 6th ride of Brian Underwood. To his outside will be that 30 ride, the Carbon Machine of David Forcht. Forcht will start there in position number 6 with the 09 ride of Wesley Burke. Bradley Rubel there in 8th. And then we see Brent Brewer and Holden back in row number 5 as we end all the anticipation as we start our feature presentation here this evening as quickly Abram Ghostin down low using that inside lane. You can see a little bit of that slipping and sliding around as they down and exit corner number 2. Good run there for the 22 right through 1 and 2. Abram Ghostin will hold on to the top spot. You'll take us back down in through corner 3 and out of corner number 4. Abram Ghostin will lead lap number 1 here this evening. Now we do see a bunch of drivers trying to inch their way forward, trying to put down some good laps here, obviously early on, trying to gain as many positions as possible here. You may be able to pick up a ton of spots right out of the get-go here when everyone's stacked up right on top of one another. This is your time to shine. This is your time to try to navigate your way through the fields. We'll take a look back through some of these other drivers a little farther back out there on the racetrack. You see the 4 ride of Isaiah Adams working his way forward. You do see Jonathan Gaston, Jeremy Jeffries there. That number 7 ride of Nathan Brookover with Willie Smith, Josh Crider back there in that beautiful Season 2 championship. That Rubbered Up Productions number 5 ride back out on the racetrack there. He rolls about the 16th spot on the Speedway. Sean Merriman there in 17th with Brian Cook, Nathan Williams in the 77 ride. Jack Fletcher in that beautiful Rigid Home Depot machine there in 20th. Farrell Robbins bringing up the rear of the field back there in the number 76 ride as the Blue Chew machine there in 21st, bringing up the rear of the field out on the Speedway. Now, we did just see that number 1 ride of Jeremy Jeffries get really, really loose down in through corner 3 and 4. Let's take a look back, see what happened here to Jeremy Jeffries. As Jeffries definitely very sideways right here, just going to lose that rear end. Luckily enough, hangs on to a great save right there out of that Monster Energy number 1 ride. A couple drivers down through the grass right there. Luckily enough, no one got tore up, and luckily enough, everyone able to keep themselves in the right direction. We keep it clean and green out there on the Speedway as Abram Ghostin continues to lead the way here in this one. Probably the best race, the best start we've seen out of Abram Ghostin here this season. And I mean, it's coming in at the right time. Playoffs are underway for each and every one of these drivers. Obviously, they're looking to have a good day, a solid day here at the Speedway. It's going to produce some really, really fun, really, really good racing for everybody to enjoy here this evening. And it's going to be non-stop action, man. I mean, we're 5 laps in. We've already seen quite a bit of action out there on the Speedway. We still have a ton of laps left to go here to try to figure out who will put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. But for right now, it is Abram Ghostin who holds on to the top spot, who leads the field here this evening. The Ghost Ride looking fresh out there on the racetrack as he continues just to put together a good start here this evening. And it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that up, if he can do it all night long and put himself into potentially the winner's circle here this evening as about to be 7 laps down here in this race. About to see 7 laps completed out there on the racetrack. We still got a lot of laps left to go here in this one, which is going to make things really, really interesting when it comes to tires. I know these guys have 5 sets of tires back there behind pit wall, so they got 5 sets of tires here that they can use, they can try to abuse, but you want to make sure you save some. You want to make sure you have them for the best moment in time. You want to make sure you have those tires for, you know, when you really need them, especially late in this race. And there is 2 stage breaks here, lap 40 and lap 80 for our stage breaks here this evening. So that will make things really, really fun, really interesting for these drivers, knowing that the stages, you know, are right around the corner. If we don't see any on-track issues here, they know that they're at least going to get those yellow flags at lap 40 and lap 80, in which case that could be right around their fuel mileage window. That could be a little bit too far for them to go. It could be right on the line and make things really, really interesting if we do have drivers potentially starting to run out of fuel or wanting to try to hit pit road before the end of this stage. As you come down pit road here, green flag pit stop, you're more than likely going to lose a lap, maybe 2 even, out there on the Speedway. So it's definitely a big gamble if you come down pit road first, and there's a few drivers that can keep on rolling and make it out there to the end of these stages. So it'll be really interesting to see as Ghostin just continues to keep on holding on to the top spot here. You do see William George in a battle here with the 6th ride of Brian Underwood. Underwood trying to jump up into position number 2 here early on. Underwood, he's up 2 spots already. The driver right there behind him in the Blue Bulls ride, that is Wesley Burke. He's up 3 positions, now into that 4th spot on the racetrack. He's been poking his nose right into this battle. Jonathan Elardo's been right there as well as he rounds out our top 5. A little farther back behind him, up 5 positions in this Majors Garage. The carbon number 4 machine of Isaiah Adams rolls there in that 4th position. Brandon Holder and the Force teammate there, that 30 machine of David Forst, right there in that 7th and 8th spot on the Speedway. There, door to door is, oh, look out! Oh, there they go! Big wreck down in out corner number 4. Caution flag on the Speedway. Our first yellow flag of the day. Huge hit here. The 14 ride of, oh man, Jack Fletcher tore up, Willie Smith tore up here. I believe you're going to see other drivers, including Nathan Williams with heavy damage. Josh Crider, he got a lot of damage there, as well as, I believe, Farrell Robbins here potentially as well. Let's take a look back, see what happened here. As there was a lot going on. There was a lot of drivers kind of tied up and tore up here in this one. I believe it starts here maybe with Fletcher, a couple of these other drivers. They're 2-3 wide. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one as they head down and through corner number 3 and 4. It looks like the 14 down on the line. I mean, you really can't go any farther down here if you're Jack Fletcher. So I believe the 9 ride of Bren Brewer maybe just coming down a little bit more. The 14, he's got a hole, he's got a gap right here. He gets to the inside of the 9 ride, and it just looks like Bren Brewer just keeps coming down, and eventually over the nose there of that 14 ride. Fletcher doesn't necessarily have to use the brakes, but obviously right there they get tied together. Big hit for both of them, and then Fletcher washes up the racetrack. Hard contact with the 77 ride up and into Josh Crider, who ends up hard up into the outside fence there, and you can see the damage for all 3 of those drivers, man. Huge hits there for Crider, Fletcher, the 77 machine of Nathan Williams, all getting tore up out there on the racetrack, man. Those were some really, really big hits, and unfortunately that is going to set these guys back a ton. And now you see Willie Smith here. Willie, he sees it happening, and he's trying to just trying to get out of the way. Let's see if we can jump on board here with this 75 ride as Willie Smith trying to navigate his way through it. Sees it happening, gets checked up, starts to go around. He still sees it going. Oh, woo, baby, great save right there by Willie Smith. I don't even think he made contact with that inside fence. Now, he may have burnt up those tires a little bit, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's a whole lot better than the alternative, and that is a absolutely tore-up race car by driving into the side of that 9 ride or any of the other 3 there on the Speedway. So, great piece of driving there for him. That was definitely a very close call. That one definitely would have sucked. And I believe Farrell Robbins... Let's take a look here at Farrell Robbins as the 76 ride. He kind of came into this one as well. I believe he had to use pit lane here to try to avoid this, as he's just going to split the middle here, has to avoid all these drivers. He does go across the line there for pit lane. Now, he did get a black flag for that. That has been cleared. Obviously, trying to avoid any of the carnage, any of the chaos right there. Down and out of 4. Had to use pit road there a little bit to avoid major contact and damage. But luckily enough for some of these drivers, they're able to continue. They're able to keep on battling, as you do see Jack Fletcher back out there. Cars in one piece. Same with that 77 and Nathan Williams. I believe you're going to see Josh Crider. He's still down pit side. He's getting that car repaired as well. Bren Brewer also repaired back out on the racetrack. Now, I believe for Bren Brewer, no, he's still on the lead lap. Okay, good break. So everyone is still on the lead lap. There are all those drivers that did get tore up, that did end up with some really, really major damage. Potentially having to use those quick repairs up this early in the race can really set you back, can really put you into a tough spot out there on the racetrack, as getting tore up this early, having that major damage, and getting put down pit side, using a quick repair up this early in the race, man, that is definitely going to be really, really, really tough to kind of battle back from, because, I mean, it's just... You get tied up in another issue this early on. I mean, you still have a ton of laps left to go, a ton of opportunities that you could, battle through it. You could not have any more damage, or you could get tore up here in the next 20 or 30 laps, or maybe even 100 laps, but still being 50 laps shy of the checkered flag, and could potentially put you down pit side, behind pit wall, and out of this race early. So to save those quick repairs is the key to success out there on the racetrack, as we are back to green flag racing. And for the 22 ride of Abram Ghostin chooses the outside lane here on the restart, and it does not work out for him. He's going to slide back quickly here, as you already see William George around him, our new race leader out there on the racetrack. Wesley Burke there in position number 2 now, as he's going to roll to the inside of that 22. Looks like Burke may jump up into that second spot here on the speedway. Here comes Jonathan Ilardo. Brian Underwood trying to work his way up there as well, as he had to go to the outside lane. You can just see the outside lane still really isn't the best lane. It isn't the preferred lane out there on the racetrack, but throughout this race, it could really start to come in. We could really start to see drivers finding that extra gear, finding that speed up there through that middle outside groove, and really being able to put their foot to the throttle and maybe pick up some big spots. You did see Wesley Burke get really loose there down out at corner number 4. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it, but it does allow Underwood and now potentially Ilardo to get around him. Now he pushes up the racetrack here into that middle groove, makes some contact there with Ilardo. That's going to push the 3 ride up a little higher there through corner 1 and 2 as well. Now they're 3 wide again, as here comes the 7 of Brookover. He'll shoot underneath of that 3 of Ilardo, and unfortunately here for Jonathan, he just stuck up on the outside of 3 wide here. Really tough spot for him, but now they finally get a little single file there, or double wide, as it looks like David Fortune able to get down and around these guys, and for Brookover, he's able to jump down into the bottom group. But now here comes that 72 ride. Oh baby, Gaston's poking his nose into that battle. Here comes Jonathan Gaston. Oh man, I thought they were still going to be 3 wide. Looks like Ilardo able to get a good run down at a corner number 2, and he's able to jump up and clear that number 7 machine of Brookover. Brookover now trying to hang on to it here himself, as Gaston still trying to work his way around him. The 31 ride of Brandon Holder's right there, as well as each and every one of these drivers trying to inch their way farther forward and towards the front of the field here, as you do see Jack Fletcher trying to battle back here as well. He's trying to race his way back up, closer to the front of the field here. He started at the back of the pack here this afternoon, and for Fletcher, he's just been battling hard. Obviously just got tore up in that first caution flag of the day. Now looking for a little bit of something extra here. Obviously now has to play it a whole lot safer, as he gets tied up one more time, gets put into the fence again like he did there on lap number 12. I mean, his day could be done here really, really soon this afternoon. So you got to be very cautious if you've used that quick repair up. And for Fletcher, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's really in a mood to sit back and hold off and wait for his time to strike. He wants to go right now, as look out, Brookover slideways there in front of him. Had to use the apron down out of corner number 4. You see all that momentum lost. Now everybody trying to work their way around him, and there they go again. Oh, big hits here. Back of the rear of the field. Big hits here. A lot of damage, a lot of tore up race cars. No caution flag as of yet. We should see it come out though rather soon, but yet no yellow flag. It's still clean and green. iRacing has not thrown one. This is a heartbreaker for Nathan Williams, Jeremy Jeffries, Brad Neer, Melvin Brangrewer. Brangrewer still parked down low. He's going to roll back up on the racetrack. I don't know why he would do this. Take it pit side, brother. Take it pit side. That car is destroyed. Take it pit side. Take it pit side. Why are you trying to turn? Why? This is retarded. I know you're in the playoffs, Brengruer. Unfortunately, no caution flag. It is still clean and green. This thing is tore up, brother. Oh, man. It's just going to bring out a caution flag. All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Still no yellow, still clean and green out there on the racetrack, as he's already multiple laps down. He might have been able to save himself 5 or 6 laps if he would have just towed this thing already down pit lane, but said he's going to keep on rolling here on the bottom of the racetrack. Heartbreaker there for Brangrewer, as William George, though, out in front, continues to lead the way. Burke there in second. Underwood and Abram Ghost and Isaiah Adams are top 5 here on the Speedway, as we'll take a look back, see what happened here, as there were some big hits. They went 3 wide back here, and this all started with the 7 ride of Brookover. getting loose down through corner number 3 and 4 here. On the corner exit, you see him sideways right there. It looks like he's already sideways here as well. He looked like he was sideways the whole corner here, drifting it through 3 and 4. Finally starts to go around. He's able to save it, gets a point in the right direction, but now that he is slowed up this much, this is where all of a sudden you see these drivers back behind him start to come into play. Now, these guys are trying to work their way through this, and obviously as they start to go 3 wide, they get a little stacked up, they get a little checked up right here, and it looks like for the 76 of Farrell Robbins in the 16 ride of Brad Neer, they're going to be the first two to kind of make a little bit of contact out there on the racetrack. So let's take a look here at these two, as all of a sudden you're going to see them trying to work their way around the 7 ride of Brookover. Neer shoots down, trying to cut the corner right here. Unfortunately, they're still 3 wide, so for the 76, he can't really go down too far, or else he's going to drive over the nose of the 7 ride. And unfortunately, this is where the party gets started back here, as they make contact right here. Neer's going to get into that right rear quarter panel. The 76 is going to wash and push him up into the outside fence. The 77 rider Williams is going to drive into the back end of him. Brad Brewer runs into the back end of the 77. Then the 1 rides in there. Brad Brewer down the racetrack ends up making hard contact here with that inside fence. And unfortunately, I mean, no caution flag, because these guys were kind of at the rear of the field here. And as the 5 ride gets around it, they're not really in danger here. If the 9 ride was smart, he would have kept his foot on the brakes right here and kept the car technically on the racetrack and not on the apron. That probably would have gotten him the caution flag, but he washes back down the racetrack here. The other 3 drivers keep on going. He gets parked there on the bottom side of the speedway and never catches that caution flag, and unfortunately now finds himself multiple laps down, as we do see the battle in here at the front of the field has not slowed down, and you're starting to see those carbon rides work their way up towards the front. Abram Gastons battling his way back up here as well, trying to work his way into the fight here at the front of the field, as you do see Brad Neer. Neer unfortunately is taking his car back down behind pit wall out of this race. Brad Brewer's back out there. Obviously took him a while to get down pit side, had to get that car repaired. I believe down across the line, he's going to find himself right now 5 laps down, potentially about to go 6 laps down out there on the racetrack, because our race leaders are right there behind him and reeling him in a quick hurry. So unfortunately, early on here, multiple laps down for the 77 ride of Nathan Williams. He's still in the lead lap here, and out of that hit, honestly he's got a bit of damage, but not a ton. But you do see him get up into the outside fence there as well, so maybe he does have a little bit more front-end damage than what it's showing here. Maybe a little bit more left side damage. And Jeremy Jeffries, obviously, he's got some pretty good damage here on that 1 machine as well. Heavy right side damage here this afternoon. But for Jeffries and Williams, they both keep on battling. They're both still on the lead lap as of right now, but they may not be done wrecking back here. Big block into the 50 ride on Jack Fletcher. Now Fletcher gets into the 4. Hang on to it. Fletcher down on the apron. The 4 ride somehow saves it. Unfortunately for Fletcher, I mean, he was making some moves, working his way up here, and now William George is going to head down pit side right here. All right, not too sure why George is heading down pit side. Maybe green flag pit stops, but you do see maybe a little contact between the 4 and the 50 ride, as you see Ghostin take the race lead back away. 50 pushed up the racetrack. The 4 ride gets to his back bumper. Doesn't he make contact with him, but then he shoots down the racetrack into the lap of the 14 ride of Jack Fletcher. Fletcher trying to find a way to get around him. Unfortunately, tries to get to the outside of him. Makes contact there with the 4 ride, and then the 50 just pulls her off down pit side here. All right, so coming down pit side just prior to our stage break. Looks like he's going to get 4 fresh tires and fuel. He's going to roll back out onto the speedway as we stay clean and green. We keep on battling, and for Abram Gostin, he holds on to the top spot here once again. So Gostin, man, putting together a really good race here for this 22 ride. Gave up the race lead there on that restart. Unfortunately, fell back 3-4 spots, but battling back here out in front. But now David Forst right there in this battle and looking to take the race lead. You see Underwood's right there ready to pounce. So isn't Wesley Burke. Ilardo still there rounding out our top 5 as the Beautiful Live Big number 72 at Gaston right there, just on the outside of the top 5, looking in that 6th position, but looking underneath of that 3 right of Ilardo. And then you do see the 26 of Bradley Rubel. Rubel there in that 7th position with Isaiah Adams back in position number 8. Farrell Robbins down to his inside. Jack Fletcher had fallen back there into the 10th position, but trying to hang on to it. But a great battle back here as you see Holder, Willie Smith, Sean Merriman, the 78 ride of Brian Cook, all right there in this battle as Brookover back in 15th. Josh Crider there in 16th. Jeremy Jeffrey still in 17th here. Still on the lead lap for that number 1 ride. Nathan Williams, he's a lap down. He is currently scored as the first driver 1 lap down. And if he can stay in front of William George, he can put himself into the free pass position, earn that lucky dog, get back on the lead lap, and put himself right back into the battle. But he's going to have to try to hang on to it here for another 5 laps or so of racing action as our stage quickly coming to a close. And Abram Ghost out in front, continuing to hold on to the top spot, continue to lead the way here in this one as Ghostin out in front, holding down the top spot here, able to keep Forch back there at bay. Now Underwood trying to work his way around that Majors Garage number 30 machine as he rolls to the outside of David here on the racetrack. But Underwood couldn't quite make that move. Is now the 30 looking for a big run down through 1 and 2. Trying to inch his way back to the rear bumper here of Abram Ghostin. But Ghostin just hitting his marks here, not making any big mistakes, able to hold on to that bottom lane and able to just keep that foot to the throttle here and doing a fantastic job hitting his marks around the racetrack to hold on to the top spot. As now you see Underwood got a little bit squirrely out of corner number 4. That opens up the door for Wesley Burke to work his way around him. So Burke jumps up the 3rd. Underwood falls back into position number 4. Jonathan Gaston still trying to hang on to that 5th position, but all of a sudden the battle for 5th is picked up as Bradley Rubel's poked his nose right into the battle. Here comes that 4 ride of Isaiah Adams. Fletcher's right back into it. The 76 ride of Farrell Robbins is there in for Jonathan Gaston, last season's champion, trying to hold on to a top 5 here in our first stage of our first playoff race of the season. As Abram Ghostin, though, out in front, continues to hold on to the top spot here in this one. The 22 ride out in front and sees another driver that he could potentially put a lap down here. That is the 1 ride of Jeremy Jeffries right there in front of him. Jeffries, a lot of damage on this race car. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to have much to hold off the race leaders here, and they are going to work their way around him, and now Jeffries will fall into the lucky dog position. Nathan Williams, unfortunately, will no longer be in that lucky dog spot out there on the racetrack, as you do see Abram able to work his way around him. They only got a couple laps left to go here, but here comes that 30 ride, making another charge for the front of the field. It's back behind them. Fellow Canadian out there on the racetrack, that 14 ride of Jack Fletcher, trying to navigate his way around that 26 of Bradley Rubel for position number 5 here on the Speedway, as Gaston unfortunately falls back a couple spots. He's trying to hold on to 7th as this is our final lap here of stage number 1. Our final lap of the first stage of the day, and it's all Abram Ghostin, as Ghostin out in front, putting down a great race and a great battle early on here. The first 40 laps of this race have been very, very entertaining. A lot of action, a lot of craziness out there on the racetrack, a lot of ups and downs for drivers here this evening as Abram Ghostin down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. He will see the green and white checkered flag as our first stage of the day comes to a close with Abram Ghostin picking up the win here in this one, man. What a run, what a drive there for Abram as Ghostin picks up the first stage win of the evening. David Forsch back there in 2nd, Wesley Burke in 3rd. Brian Underwood back in position number 4 with Jack Fletcher there in that 5th spot on the Speedway. Bradley Rubel, Jonathan Gaston, Farrell Robbins, Isaiah Adams, and Willie Smith round out our top 10 here in stage number 1, as there was a lot of craziness, a lot of back and forth out there, and I believe we're going to see this 1 ride of Jeremy Jeffries. He's going to be the first driver to earn a lucky dog here this evening. Obviously, he does have a lot of damage still on this 1 ride, so we'll have to wait and see, you know, obviously if they can get this car repaired, if they'll use that quick repair up to try to get it fixed up and back into the battle. For Nathan Williams, I believe he may have used that quick repair up for that first wreck of the day, so he may have to sit down pit side, get a lot of damage repaired to try to get this thing, you know, rolling and keep it in the race, keep it in the battle here this evening, as he does have quite a bit of damage on that 77 ride. For William George, we saw him come down pit side, make that green flag pit stop. He may be able to take a wave around right here, but unfortunately for William George, even if he takes the wave around, he's going to be behind the 8-ball here quite a bit early on in this race. He's going to be 10 lap older tires. He's going to be at the rear of the field compared to the rest of these lead lap drivers, and he's definitely going to be back here deeper in the pack, and it's really going to make things that much tougher for the 50 ride here this evening, as we do see our drivers starting to head down pit side. They're going to make their pit stops here this evening, and it looks like the 50 ride's also coming down pit road. Okay, William George not going to go for the wave around right here to get back on the lead lap, so this is going to trap him a lap down out there on the racetrack. Jeremy Jeffries does get the lucky dog, does get the free pass back on the lead lap as everyone else hits pit lane. Everyone's making their pit stops and getting fuel, getting tires, getting everything that they desire, and they'll get ready to roll back out there in just a couple more moments. As you do see the 50 ride also down pit side. Now he's not taking tires here, he's taking fuel only. Unfortunately, he could not beat any of the race leaders off pit road. I think maybe that's what his strategy call may have been. Come down pit road, get topped up on fuel to make sure that the fuel was at least even. Still try to get out in front of them to try to maybe stay in that wave around position. Unfortunately, Jack Fletcher with a quick pit stop there, able to get out in front of them, and that is going to keep the 50 ride, unfortunately, back there a lap down on the speedway. But he will have to battle here for the lucky dog to try to put himself back on the lead lap, back into the race here this evening. Unfortunately, did not get the wave around yet. He's not going to get one as our race leader. The 14 of Jack Fletcher sits in front of him. The 50 will have to fall to the rear of the field here with the rest of the lap down traffic out there on the racetrack. Is Fletcher, Abram Ghostin, Wesley Burke, our top three out there on the speedways. Abram Ghostin starting to blink out there on the racetrack. There he is. He's back. Okay. Hopefully Abram doesn't run into any more of those issues. Definitely would make it a heartbreaking story if iRacing booted him out or anything else, or he got turned around or put into a tough position because his car started to blink around these drivers and got wrecked out there on the racetrack. That'd be a tough spot for him, as you see the 50 ride having to fall to the rear of the field here. William George, unfortunately, lap down, and unfortunately going to stay lap down until another caution flag. And the way this one's been going, the way these restarts have happened, being in that lucky dog spot is definitely not too far-fetched here to be able to get a quick caution flag, get that wave around, get back on the lead lap here this evening, as we do see Josh Crider headed down pit side here again, getting extra fuel. And right here, gets in too hot, too fast, washes up the racetrack, hits pit road, hits that apron right there on the outside of pit lane, gets a black flag down pit side here. I'm not sure if he's going to have to hold down pit road right now, or if this will have to be a pass-through penalty, or what the problem may be here. But you do see tires going on the 5 ride. He's making this pit stop. He's going to get released, but I believe he's still going to have that black flag. May have to make a pass-through penalty here. Man, this is a heartbreaker. Some of our playoff drivers already running into some major issues here this evening, as Brian Underwood, Jack Fletcher, Wesley Burke, Brandon Holder, and Jonathan Gaston, top 5 coming into this race for our playoffs here this evening. Nathan Brookover, Melvin Brengerer, Josh Crider, Jonathan Elardo, Sean Merriman, Grant Wesley, and Danny White, all a part of the playoffs as well. And the bottom 2, that's kind of what we were thinking. We were definitely missing a few drivers here this evening, as we do go back to Green Flag Racing. Fletcher with a great restart right there, great launch, able to hang on to the top spot. You do see Abram Ghostin push up the racetrack here. It's not the first time we've seen this 22 kind of fall back a couple spots off of the restart, and he'll keep on battling here as one of our non-playoff drivers out there in the field. But for Wesley Burke, he's a playoff driver. He's right there in the thick of it. Same with Jack Fletcher in that 14 ride. We've seen the 6 of Brian Underwood up there at the front of the field getting good stage points, as well as Jonathan Gaston and Sean Merriman having himself a pretty solid run here this evening as well, as he rolls back there in 7th. Now, We do see Josh Crider down pit side here. He is serving this penalty, and I believe with making this stop here and getting this hold, I believe he's already a lap down. I believe he's about to go 2 laps down as our race leaders are down and around him right there. So unfortunately for one of our playoff competitors, Josh Crider finds himself going 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. Here, fairly early still in this race, but that is definitely going to set him back. Melvin Brengerer, who we saw get tied up and tore up there in that second little bit of an issue there where there was no caution flag. And for the 9 ride, obviously having to take that thing down pit side, not getting a caution flag, even though he tried his best to get one. He tried to get that yellow flag, tried to get it on the racetrack to catch a yellow flag to help him out a little bit. Unfortunately, yellow flag never came. iRacing never gave him one, and unfortunately, he finds himself still, I believe, 5 laps down out there on the racetrack. So 5 laps down, gonna be really, really tough to battle back from. Even for Josh Crider being 2 laps down, it's gonna be really, really tough to battle back from 2 laps down, and he may be at risk of even falling back another lap here because our race leaders are not too far away from him here. He is just in front of our race leaders as you see him head down through 1 and 2. Crider's just right there out of corner number 2. So down the back straightaway, you'll virtually see our race leaders less than just that back straightaway away from potentially putting a playoff driver in Josh Crider 3 laps down out there on the racetrack, man. That's going to be tough. Very, very tough to battle back from. Is out in front. Didn't take him long, but battling back to the point here is that 22 of Abram Ghostin. Back out in front. Abram has been having himself a amazing day, an immaculate day here at the Speedways. This 22 ride sits out in front, just putting together an incredible race here this evening as he sits at the front of the field, continues to show these drivers how to get it done here in this one as, man, everything is bigger in Texas. And a win here this evening for the 22, my gosh, that would definitely build a lot of confidence there for him, the entire team, and their efforts out there on the racetrack here, especially throughout these playoffs. As we talked about some of the playoff drivers here, unfortunately, no Grant Wesley out there on the racetrack and no Danny White out on the racetrack either. That's really, really strange. 2 of our playoff drivers not even here this afternoon to battle, to get out, to try to put themselves, into the next round of these playoffs. And unfortunately, I mean, that's going to set them back here this season, man. I don't know if they're going to be even able to battle back from that, as that's going to put them definitely behind the 8 ball here. And with a 3-race series for the playoffs, I mean, they got Dover next, or well, I guess 2 weeks away. We're off next week for Mother's Day weekend, but we head to Dover, and I think it's going to be really, really tough. That's a tough racetrack to gain a lot of points, and then Daytona is just always such a wild card where, you can may race your way in, you could win that race, or you could get wrecked out and never finish that race. And if you're already a race behind, man, it's going to be really, really tough for both Grant Wesley and Danny White to advance into the second round of our playoffs here this season. But nonetheless, still some great races, still a lot of great action here, and for a lot of our other playoff drivers, still a lot of points on the line as our second stage is underway, and we will see this stage come to a close here at the completion of lap number 80. So for Abram Ghostin, a non-playoff driver, able to win some stage points there, win that stage, that's a great blessing for him, but it really hurts a lot of these other playoff drivers. That's some major points that they could definitely use, want in their back pocket here. Wesley Burke right there trying to work his way back up into second here. David Forsch there as well, earning some big stage points there. We saw a lot of non-playoff drivers throughout our top 10 picking up stage points there in stage number 1, and we'll have to wait and see if it's a lot like that again here in stage number 2, as right now we do see, drivers like Jonathan Elardo. He's outside of the top 10 looking in. You look at Brandon Holder, who's back there as well. He's on the outside looking in. Obviously for Josh Crider, multiple laps down back there in 19th. Brenger is multiple laps down back in 20th out there on the Speedway. So unfortunately for a bunch of our playoff drivers, they're outside of stage points again, and this could put them into a really, really big hole out there on the Speedway and into a tough spot here this evening, guys. Abram Ghostin, though, out in front, hold on to the top spot. We do see Wesley Burke now starting to blink quite a bit out there on the racetrack. Hopefully that gets cleaned up for the 09 ride as Burke tries to keep himself right in the mix, right into the battle here this evening, as everybody doing a fantastic job. Some great racing action out there on the speedway, and each and every one of them putting together an amazing show for us here this evening, as you do see Underwood now trying to work his way around that 09. Looks like he will complete that pass. So Underwood up and into second now here on the speedway. Burke will fall back to third, but quickly has that Majors Garage Ford Mustang right there to his back bumper. And now here comes that 72 and Jonathan Gaston as well. Jack Fletcher back there in position number 6. Now, I feel for Fletcher that after he got tied up and tore up in that first wreck of the day back around lap number 12, I have a sneaky suspicion he had to take a quick repair, which case they probably gave him 4 fresh tires in that quick repair. And for the 14 ride, I'm going to say probably didn't take tires here to start this stage. I feel like he took fuel only. That's how he got down and out of the pit so quickly to end up with that race lead. But, you know, we saw how quick he was there in that first stage, especially later on as other drivers had their tires kind of falling off and they were sliding back. He was able to make some big ground up in a big, quick hurry and gain a lot of positions to gain some good stage points there. I think right now he's just trying to balance out these tires here, trying to save a set throughout this run and try to balance out the sets of tires here for all these drivers. As Abram Ghostin still leads the charge, still out in front, and not too far in front of him, still sees that number 5 rider, Josh Crider, potentially about to go 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. Now we do see Sean Merriman also down pit side here. On lap number 58, Sean Merriman hits pit road. This is another one of our playoff drivers making a green flag pit stop. He will fall a lap down out there on the racetrack. This is definitely a interesting stop right here. This is an interesting one that you see this Dr. Pepper Cherry number 18 ride down pit road here, making, you know, a fairly early pit stop here throughout this stage. They've only ran about 19 laps or so out there on the racetrack throughout this stage. So really an odd one right there for the 18 ride, but nonetheless, let's see if we can take a look back at him. Doesn't look like any major damage here to the 18 ride. I don't know if there was any contact that kind of forced him down pit road. No, just it's pit lane right here. Bit of an odd one right there for the Dr. Pepper ride, but nonetheless, he will unfortunately fall a lap down himself. And now you do see Abram Ghostin able to track down Josh Crider and puts the 5 ride of Josh Crider a lap down out there on the speedway. So unfortunately here for Josh Crider, he will lose another lap, and I believe this is going to put him 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. Man, this is going to be tough to battle back from. This is going to be tough to try to work your way back into it, especially with more and more drivers losing laps out there on the racetrack. Obviously, we see William George still a lap down. He is in that lucky dog position still out there on the racetrack. So for William George, hanging tough right here. He's in a battle, you know, right there with the 3 rider, Jonathan Elardo. But now we do see Brandon Holder headed down pit road. Okay, so maybe green flag pit stops are going to be a thing here in this stage, and some drivers are trying to split it. Unfortunately for the 31 ride, actually no, looks like the 31 of Holder has a bunch of right side damage here on this 31 ride, so maybe it's just the damage. He's coming down pit side to get repaired. Unfortunately here, as he hits pit road, gets a little sideways, trying to get checked up. Unfortunately, does not help him. Too fast entering pit road for Brandon Holder. He will earn a black flag, and unfortunately for the 31 ride, he will be held down pit lane here. So he's more than likely going to lose multiple laps. And for all of our playoff drivers, what in the world is happening here? What in the world is going on? All of our playoff drivers are running into problems out there on the racetrack. As multiple playoff competitors all running into issues here. Texas just putting on a wonderful show for us, a crazy show for us here this evening. And obviously for Abram Ghostin just continues to lead the way, man. I don't know where this came from, where he found this gear, but Ghostin is just all of a sudden jumped up into the battle, into the front of the field, and looking to just try to run away from everybody here this evening. And as of right now, it looks like he may be able to do that as he's out in front by 1.4 seconds between himself and Brian Underwood. That is a really good gap here between himself and our second place driver out there on the racetrack. And then you see the Hogwasher drivers back there behind them as you do see Wesley Burke. He's trying to work his way around the lap down number 5 ride of Josh Crider. He will make that pass. Now here comes that 30 ride of David Forsch there, but back for 5th. I mean, there's a lot of battling back here. Gaston Fletcher's right there. Here's Farrell Robbins in that beautiful blue chew number 76 ride, rolling there in 7th. Isaiah Adams there to his outside. Bradley Rubel's right there as well, as we do see Brian Cook now hit pit lane here. He's got some left front damage here on the 78 ride, so he hits pit road. And obviously, if there is green flag pit stops here for everybody in this stage, then obviously they can't make it 40 laps. And now here we go. We see Underwood headed down pit lane. So one of our playoff drivers hits pit road here as well. So green flag pit stops definitely underway. And for some of these drivers, it may work out really good for them. For other drivers, unfortunately, like Brandon Holder, who earned a black flag down pit road, definitely not working out too well for him out there on the speedway. And unfortunately, I believe for Brandon Holder finds himself right now, I believe he is 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. Now, he should gain a lap back with green flag pit stops by the rest of the field, as we see Abram Ghostin hit pit lane here. So the Ghost hits pit road. Here comes Brooke over as well. So Brooke over slides in here. So far, so good for both those drivers. No penalties down pit side. Underwood has done his pit stop. He'll get ready to roll back out onto the racing surface. No penalties there for the 6 machine either. So he'll keep on battling hard here this evening. And now you do see these drivers here towards the front of the field. Wesley Burke, David Forcht, Jonathan Gaston, Jack Fletcher, all right here tight together and battling now for the race lead as Burke is able to lead lap number 69 here this evening. Our favorite lap out there on the racetrack. And I believe with these green flag stops, I mean, Josh Crider still in a very difficult position out there. Obviously still 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. I would see if he could go a little farther, see if he stretches out that fuel. Maybe catches a timely caution flag, or maybe he can at least save himself a lap out there on the racetrack, as you see Farrell Robbins down pit side. Now here comes Jack Fletcher. Fletcher's got to get checked up. Oh no, black flag. Oh, heartbreaker. Too fast entering pit road for Jack Fletcher. He will also earn a penalty down pit road. And for another one of our playoff drivers, this is another huge mistake, a huge slip-up out there on the speedway. And for Jack Fletcher, this is going to hold him down pit road here for an extended period of time here this evening. As David Forsch, though, Forsch out in front, Wesley Burke there in second, Jonathan Gaston back in position number 3 here on the speedway as these drivers down across the line complete lap number 71. There is only 9 laps left to go here in this stage. So far, drivers have been able to make it virtually about, I'm going to say, almost 30 laps here to the tank of fuel. But honestly, we're starting to see more and more drivers hit pit road. Here comes the 1 ride of Jeremy Jeffries. He'll hit pit lane. Here comes our race leader at the time, David Forsch. Forsch too fast entering. He'll earn a black flag. Oh, man. I think everyone's just going to earn a black flag here this evening. David Forsch, black flag. He'll hit pit road. He'll serve a penalty. Wesley Burke, nice entry there. Does not get a penalty. Same with Isaiah Adams and Willie Smith. They're able to make good, clean stops here this evening. And now for Sean Merriman, making that much earlier pit stop. His race is way out in front. The fresher tires have given him the race lead. Unfortunately, though, he's going to see drivers with much fresher tires catch up to him in a quick hurry. As now Gaston's down pit lane and a black flag for Jonathan Gaston. Oh my gosh, another playoff driver with another major mistake here down pit side this afternoon. Gaston, too fast entering pit road, will have a penalty. He'll have a black flag here as well and be held down pit side here in this one as Elardo hits pit lane. Bradley Rubel hits his pit stall. You still see that number 30 ride of Forch serving his penalty down pit side here. Unfortunately going multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. Now for Josh Crider, I believe for Josh Crider, he's yet to come back down pit lane right now. I think he's trying to stay potentially only 2 laps down if he can catch a good timely yellow flag, but I feel like it may not work out too well for him. Did he come down pit road here? No, he's not been down pit side since lap 44. Now he's got to hit pit road, and for Josh Crider, you got to make sure you do not earn another penalty here. You do not want to take yourself out of this race. He really gets checked up right there. I mean, already multiple laps down. I mean, it's going to be a tough day for him at the speedways. You do see Gaston rolling back out there. I believe he's going to fall a lap down. We're going to see a lot of drivers a lap down out there on the speedway, and I believe as of right now, Jeremy Jeffries, last driver on the lead lap, William George in that Great Lakes Sims number 50 ride. The Great Lakes Sim machine rolls in 13th. I believe he's the first driver one lap down right now, so he's in line for the lucky dog. Once the stage comes to a close in 5 more laps, if he's still in that lucky dog position, it could work out really, really well for him. But Jeremy Jeffries still with major damage here on this number 1 ride. He's not too far away from our race leader, Brian Underwood, and I don't know if Underwood knows this or not, but if he can get around Jeffries, put him a lap down, that could trap, obviously, a really fast driver like William George. A lap down out there on the racetrack, it could potentially trap, other drivers like Jack Fletcher, David Forge, Brandon Holder, Jonathan Gaston, a lap or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, and this is just going to be a crazy race here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a wild one as so many of our playoff drivers back here deep in the field. If you would have asked me prior to the start of this race how many of our lead lap or any of our playoff drivers would be down a lap before stage number 2 got completed here, I probably would have told you 1, maybe 2, if that. And unfortunately here, we're going to see Jack Fletcher a lap down. We're going to see Brandon Holder a lap down. We see Jonathan Gaston a lap down out there on the racetrack. We see Josh Crider a lap down and Brenger a lap down as well. So 5 playoff drivers all a lap down here early on this evening, which is absolutely insane. Five of our playoff drivers find themselves 1 or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. For 2 of our playoff drivers, not even in the field here this evening, with Grant Wesley and Danny White not here at the Speedway. And, I mean, that's half of our playoff field running into major issues here right out of the get-go as Underwood continues to lead the way now. He did catch up and lap this number 1 rider, Jeremy Jeffries. So Jeffries is now into the lucky dog position out there on the speedway. Again, trapping William George, but George is not too far away from him, but they're on the final lap. So he's got to try to find 2.6 seconds to reel in this one ride. I mean, even though Jeffries is slower, he's damaged, I don't think he's going to have enough time here to catch up to that number 1 ride and put him a lap down, or to try to leapfrog him and earn that lucky dog. Is Underwood down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line, will win stage number 2 here this evening. So Underwood wins our second stage. Abram Ghostin there in second, with Wesley Burke back in third, Sean Merriman in fourth, Farrell Robbins, Isaiah Adams, Bradley Rubel, Jonathan Elardo, Willie Smith, and Nathan Brookover are top 10 there in stage number 2. Brian Cook rolls in 11th, and for Jeremy Jeffries, he's in that lucky dog spot, so Jeffries will earn the lucky dog again here. He will earn that free pass back onto the lead lap again here this evening. And unfortunately, man, that's going to trap a lot of our playoff drivers. A lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack is... yeah, this is going to be, it's going to be a dogfight, I think, for the lucky dog spot. And a lot of these playoff drivers are going to be hoping for a lot of caution flags, or they're going to be looking to maybe try to play a little strategy here, go for a wave around, try to get the wave back on a lead lap, catch a quick yellow at the start of stage number 3, and hope that they can get another chance to hit pit road on the lead lap, get tires and fuel and everything else that they may need, and maybe even have a little bit of an advantage over the race leaders here. But as of right now, I mean, if one of these lead lap cars decide to stay out right here, if Burke, Ghostin, Underwood, I mean, even Merriman or Farrell Robbins, if one of these guys decided to stay out here, they could trap a lot of drivers, even if they were to try to take a wave around here and try to get the free pass. It would trap them a lap down still out there on the racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see as They're all going to hit pit road. Yeah, I didn't think anyone was going to pull that move. It's a bit of a greasy move there to trap these guys a lap down, but I think even for most of them, they're still coming down pit road themselves. They know how much fuel and tires are important here and how much they need them, and they got to come down pit road, so it looks like it's going to be a dogfight here for the free passes this afternoon as Jeremy Jeffries is going to earn his second lucky dog here this evening. He'll get back on the lead lap, back into the battle here, and for the Monster Energy ride, he'll hit pit road, try to get this car a little bit more repaired, a little bit more fixed up, and back out there on the lead lap in position number 12 for the restart here this evening as Bradley Rubel down pit road quickly here. He comes out with the race lead. Brian Underwood will come out in second with Burke, Ghostin back in fourth, Sean Merriman, Farrell Robbins, Isaiah Adams, Willie Smith, and Brookover are top 9. Elardo's back there in that 10th position on the speedway. But man, some crazy action, some crazy racing early on here this evening, and for each and every one of these drivers, man, I don't think the craziness is done. I mean, if they can only go about 30 laps to a tank of fuel here, like we kind of saw in stage number 2, I mean, that's really going to make things that much more interesting because our final stage of the day is going to be roughly 80 laps, and that is going to be at least, you know, the potential of 2 green flag pit stops. And we saw already how many black flags have been handed out, how many pit road penalties we've seen here this evening. So for a lot of these drivers, if you do have to make 2 green flag pit stops, you got to make sure you are picture perfect down there, especially if you've been blessed with, really good luck so far. If you're Underwood, if you're Burke or Sean Merriman, a couple of these drivers that are in our playoffs, even Brookover back there, Elardo back there. I mean, you guys are on the lead lap. You're in the battle here. You're at the hunt at the front. You're in such a golden position out there on the racetrack, and I think for these guys, right now, they just got to hope that they don't see a lot of caution flags. They got to hope that stays clean and green and that they don't allow more of these drivers like William George, David Forge, Jack Fletcher, Holder, Gaston, more of our playoff competitors to get back on a lead lap, to get back into the action here this evening, as we do see Josh Crider headed back down pit road here. Unfortunately for Crider, he just started lap number 80 here this evening, and our race leaders are on lap 83, so unfortunately he is 3 laps down back there, stuck deep in the field. He's got a lot of drivers that are 1 lap down in front of him. I believe for Nathan Williams, 2 laps down here in front of him. So there's a lot of free passes. There's a lot of lucky dogs that other drivers may be able to get that he may not be able to get. And that may just keep him trapped back here in the 19th position for a very long time here this evening. Same with Brangler, who is, I believe, 5 laps down, scored back here in position number 20 here on the speedway. As here we go. Our final stage of the day is ready to rumble, ready to be set loose here this evening as Bradley Rubel gets a great launch, great jump as the Caterpillar ride, able to quickly get onto the loud pedal, put that pedal to the metal, gets a good jump, a good lead down through corner number 1 as drivers trying to figure out where they want to be, which lane they want to jump into, and try to get things rolling here for our final stage of the day as they look to try to chase down the checkered flag here this evening as Bradley Rubel out in front. Wesley Burke sits in second. Underwood there in third with Abram Ghostin, man. Ghostin has just been solid all evening long, and what a win it would be for the 22 here this evening to park himself up and into the Texas Motor Speedway victory lane here in this one. Sean Merriman back there in fifth with Farrell Robbins, Willie Smith, Brian Cook. Great run here for Cook this afternoon, as well as that 78 ride right up inside our top 10, battling hard here this evening. Isaiah Adams back there in 9th, and Brookover rounding out our top 10 here on the speedways. Each and every one of these drivers putting together a fantastic battle here. Some fantastic racing out there on the speedway. And for Bradley Rubel, he's going to quickly see Abram Ghostin. Once again, man, he kind of fell back, didn't really have a great pit stop there, lost a couple spots down pit road, but for the 22 ride on that restart, didn't get the best launch, but after getting rolling here for a lap or two, he's found that gear, and all of a sudden, driving right up to that number 26 ride of Bradley Rubel, and looking to try to take the race lead back away from the 26 ride as they just completed lap number 87. So 87 laps down, 80 Laps left to go here in this feature event. 80 laps left to duke it out here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway as we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, what we want you to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming here this evening, man. Crank it up, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Crank it up, chat. Alrighty, some great racing action is a beautiful crank it up here this evening with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, as each and every one of these drivers putting on a fantastic show and a fantastic race for us here as this final stage of the day is putting on a great show, a great battle out there on the speedway. These guys putting some good laps in right here, man. They are clicking them off in a quick hurry, and we inch closer and closer to starting to see some more green flag pit stops, and here they come, as here's the 18 ride of Sean Merriman down pit road. Wesley Burke hits pit road from second. We do see Farrell Robbins down pit side. Jack Fletcher hits pit road. William George down pit side. So a lot of pit stops here. A lot of these drivers headed down pit road. We do see Williams. We see Brenger also down pit lane here this evening as Josh Crider has worked his way around Nathan Williams here, at least through this wave of green flag pit stops and into the 18th position. Unfortunately for Crider, he still has to make that green flag stop. Williams already down pit side here, and now we do see Abram Ghostin. He hits pit road. So doesn't Willie Smith. Isaiah Adams down pit side. Jeremy Jeffries also down pit road, and now this time with these green flag pit stops, these drivers have been a whole lot more easy breezy down pit lane here this evening, as so far no pit road penalties, no pit road mistakes, but it is still early. We still got a few drivers to hit pit road. Here comes our race leader, the 6th ride of Brian Underwood. We had just seen Underwood jump up, take that race lead away from the number 22 of Abram Ghostin, and now for Underwood, he hits pit road. So doesn't Ilardo, and oh no, here in this wave of green flag stops, the one driver to earn a penalty, it's the 7 of Nathan Brookover. Too fast entering pit road, and for the 7 ride of Brookover, he'll earn a black flag as well. I believe this is like our 5th or 6th driver in the playoffs that has earned a penalty here this evening. Brookover gets nabbed this time. Unfortunately, that's going to set him back here in this one. Oh man, the only one throughout this wave of green flag stops to get nailed down pit sign, as we did see already Jonathan Gaston get a pit road penalty. We saw obviously William George, his earlier issues and making an unscheduled pit stop. Jack Fletcher earned a black flag down pit sign. David Forch earned a black flag down pit side. So did Brandon Holder and Josh Crider. And unfortunately, we saw Melvin Brenger get tied up, tore up early on, and didn't get a caution flag, and unfortunately went multiple laps down here. But for a bunch of our playoff competitors, potential finishes outside the top 10 on the horizon for them here in our first playoff race of the season. Now, the good news is for some of those playoff drivers, the ones that earned, early penalties that are back here, like Brenger or like Crider, as long as, they're going to get bad finishes here, if some of their fellow competitors also earn bad finishes, then it could really put them into a good spot. As we do see Nathan Williams down pit side here. He stayed down here for a very long time here this afternoon as the free nicotine pouches number 77 ride looks like he's going to stay down pit road here for an extended period of time. Made his pit stop back on lap 108. He is still down pit road and has now fallen 7 laps down, so that has given a free position virtually to Josh Crider and Melvin Brenger, so that makes their day a little bit better here this evening. And now for Brookover, oh no, Brookover's disappeared. Oh no, for Brookover, he's off the racetrack. He manually disconnected. If you look right here, chat, I don't know if you can see it, but Nathan Brookover has manually disconnected from this race. So that is going to move Brookover deep in the field, as we do see Brenger finally hit pit road here himself, or at least he's headed back down pit side in that 9 ride. But for Brookover, that's going to put him deep in the field here. If Nathan Williams doesn't get back out onto the racetrack here, then he will slide all the way back into that 19th spot on the speedway. That's going to give an extra spot to Brenger and to Josh Crider out there on the speedway to really help them out here this evening. But for Sean Merriman, he leads the charge here. He was one of the first ones to come back down pit side. We saw him do that early on as well, but a lot more aggressively. But it does work out into his favor nonetheless as he ends up with that race lead. Wesley Burke is back in position number 2 here in this one as Haas the Penguin says it broken. Oh no, it broken. It's broken. That's no good. If it's broken, I know what's wrong with it. It ain't got no gas in it. That's what's wrong with it. As Lonnie Crider says, if you look out, I think if you look outside, it might be a full moon. I think you're right. I think you're right, Ronnie. The way things have been going here tonight, man, with the issues early on in that first stage, with all of the penalties that have been flying here for our playoff drivers, it's got to be a full moon. Something crazy, something abnormal, something paranormal maybe even here this afternoon is happening. And for all these drivers, man, some huge mistakes, but some huge open doors for some of our other playoff drivers. When you look at Sean Merriman, when you look at Wesley Burke and Brian Underwood sitting 1, 2, and 3 out there on the racetrack right now, they have a huge advantage to kind of pull ahead and to try to work themselves into a really, really good spot here this afternoon and trying to, you know, pick up a lot of key points that could help them through to the next round of our playoffs. For other playoff drivers here this afternoon, there's not a lot that haven't had issues, but Jonathan Ilardo, who came into the playoffs here, tied for that 8th position. He sits here nicely in that 9th position. Now, obviously, there's an opportunity for him to move forward, earn more spots, more points here on the table for this number 3 ride. But if you look a little farther back for a lot of our other playoff drivers, when you look at Jack Fletcher, he's a lap down out there on the racetrack now with William George racing his way to the front of the field here. You see George and the 9 ride just in front of our race leader here. Now, William came down pit road a lap earlier than Sean Merriman, a few laps earlier than Wesley Burke and Brian Underwood. Obviously, he's used those fresh tires to his advantage. It's put him out in front. He is currently on the lead lap, but he's definitely at risk of potentially falling a lap down out there on the racetrack again. And if he does fall another lap down, then that will move him, unfortunately, you know, back into that free pass spot. But at least he's still in that free pass position as of right now out there on the racetrack. But Jack Fletcher, unfortunately, not in the free pass spot. Same with David Forch back there in position number 13. Brandon Holder, he's in 14th, not in the free pass position. Jonathan Gaston, not in the free pass spot, back there in 15th. And then you do see Bradley Rubel also a lap down, non-playoff driver back there for Josh Crider. Multiple laps down, scored back here in the 17th position, I believe, as of right now. He is still 3 laps down out there on the racetrack, but he is about a front straightaway away from potentially going 4 laps down out there on the racetrack. Brand Brewer, he's right in front of our race leaders. As of right now, I believe he rolls, I want to say 6 laps down, maybe 7 laps down. I don't know how that is officially scored, but right in front of our race leaders could potentially lose that extra lap here in just a little bit, as we'll see. Obviously, the 18 rider, Sean Merriman, a little bit older tires. He will probably slide back a little bit, as you do see Underwood back around Wesley Burke. Burke will slide back into position number 3. Underwood now going to try to chase down, hunt down this 18 ride, try to work his way in front of Sean Merriman and trying to put himself right back into the race lead here this evening. But for each of these drivers, they hit pit road there around lap 110. I believe we'll see them back down pit side somewhere around lap 140, which will give them virtually a 27-lap run to the end of this race. So it will be a 2-stop race here to the checkered flag. And now for a lot of these drivers, if you've saved an extra set of tires, if you put yourself into a position where if you do come down for this second and final stop here throughout this stage, it may be your final stop of this race no matter what. But there could be a few drivers that may still have that extra set of tires back behind pit wall. And if there is an additional yellow flag here late in this race where, you know, they got 10, 15 laps kind of on their tires, maybe they can hit pit road, put those freshies on and battle their way out in front and steal this race win here this evening. We'll see if anyone was a gambler here this evening, as you do see Underwood made quick work there with Sean Merriman. Merriman will now fall back to the clutches of the 09 of Wesley Burke, as Burke will move around him and now into position number 2 here on the Speedway. Merriman's going to try to battle strong, though. He stays there to the outside. Good run down the back straightaway, but it looks like eventually he'll probably will lose that spot to the 09 rider Wesley Burke. Burke going to slide up in front of him right there. Clears to know that Dr. Pepper cherry number 18 machine. Abram Ghostin right there as well. We saw Ghostin after the restart there, able to jump back out in front, led a lot more laps there. Underwood had taken the race lead away from him, and now it seems like Ghostin has just gotten a little bit more content back here in about that 3rd, 4th position. Hasn't really raced his way up to Underwood or Burke and really put his nose back into the battle for the race lead. So we'll see if he's got something left in the tank here for late in this race. But out in front, Underwood, he's trying to put a couple of these drivers either a lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack as he is trying to complete this pass on that 50 rider William George. George trying to keep himself in the battle, trying to keep himself on the lead lap as of right now, pushing as hard as he can and trying to maybe even throw a couple blocks, a couple big moves here to try to keep our race leader back there at bay. I don't think Underwood's going to like that one very much, but he'll get to the inside, look for a big run underneath that 50 run, but the 50 going to try to pinch him down low on the corner exit here, and he will keep Underwood back there at bay. And for William George, keeps himself still on the lead lap, scored back here in the 11th. Now the 10th position is Farrell Robbins right here. Robbins is falling back. He's unfortunately going to fall back even farther here as well, as we did see some issues just prior to the green flag pit stops for that 76th ride of Farrell Robbins and Bradley Rubel. So Rubel ran into problems here as well back around lap 108-ish or so. Let me see if we can take a look at it here at Bradley Rubel. Let's take a look here because he had a ton of damage already on this 26 ride. I believe he had a heavy right front damage here as he ended up into the outside fence down out of corner number 4. Looks like he's just going to push up the racetrack here on corner exit. Tags the outside fence. Really heavy hit there for him. You see that right front absolutely busted up right there. Unfortunately, it just continues to pull into the outside fence. Eventually, you see the 76 right there of Farrell Robbins gets into him. Big hit there for Robbins, and unfortunately, that's given him some really solid damage here on the racetrack, and that kind of really set him back as well. So unfortunately for Farrell, oh, look out! There it is, caution flag. It's the 50 rider, William George. Jonathan Elardo was down pit road at that same time, so that may have been a good break, maybe a bad break there for Elardo, but nonetheless, let's play it back. Let's take a look here as the 50 ride runs into some big issues here. Let's see what happens here to the Great Lakes Sim number 50 ride as he's battling with our race leader. Oh man, for a non-playoff driver out there on the racetrack, trying to keep himself on the lead lap. Our race leaders are right here with him, trying to get around him, and he's just throwing big moves, big blocks, and eventually it's just going to go the wrong way for the 50, and unfortunately for the 6 ride of Brian Underwood, he gets tagged and collected into that as well. So another one of our playoff drivers gets tore up here, and I don't know about this one. I feel like, obviously, we talked about it. We told him that Underwood was not going to be happy with the way that the 50 ride's racing him as a lap-down driver out there on the racetrack, making these big moves and throwing blocks and trying to just stay on the lead lap. They're not going to be very happy about it, being lead lap drivers and playoff drivers here. Eventually, there it is, gets tagged, and then launches right back up the racetrack here and hard into Brian Underwood, and I believe as he gets tagged, he's trying to keep it from hitting the inside fence right here. He's trying to keep pointing the right direction, so he's got the wheel hooked to the right, and eventually straightens out, just hooks around, and he definitely just stays right into it there. Did he ever let off the throttle right there? I don't know if he did. I think he may have tried to stay right in the throttle that whole time. Gets off, okay, gets off a little bit right there, but then, was that a shift, or was that him gassing up right there? The RPMs definitely climb back up to 7,300, so I don't know if that was a shift down or what that may have been, but Nonetheless, it takes out the 6 ride as well, so another playoff driver with issues as the 50 ride in the Great Lakes Sims machine gets up and into our race leader at the time of Mr. Brian Underwood. Now, Underwood obviously going to have to probably use a quick repair, try to get this thing fixed up and back into one piece. It looks like he will do so and roll back out onto the racetrack. For Abram Ghostin, he'll come not down pit side here. All right, interesting move for the 22 of Abram Ghostin. He's going to stay out. And as he stays out, oh my gosh, it traps so many of these drivers. Still a lap down out there on the racetrack. Jack Fletcher was probably looking for the wave around. David Forch, Brandon Holder, Jonathan Elardo maybe. All these drivers were looking for the wave around or free pass or something to try to get back into the action. Unfortunately, our race leader, Abram Ghostin, stays out, and it traps him back there, as I believe with that wreck, I believe Farrell Robbins had gotten the lucky dog. So great break there for Farrell, as that will get him back on the lead lap, back into the action here this evening himself. Now, unfortunately, this season, he is not a playoff driver out there on the racetrack. So for the 76, obviously, still very much in the hunt, still wanting to have a good run, a good race, and obviously being able to get this car repaired, get back on the lead lap here, he's going to have a good opportunity for a good, solid performance and a good, solid race here this evening. But Abram Ghostin, our race leader, as you see the lap down drivers will all hit pit road now, is David Forge, we see Elardo, Holder, Fletcher, Ghostin, not Ghostin, that's Gaston right there. Gaston's actually stopped short of pit road here. Josh Crider, he's down pit road. I'm not sure what's going on with Jonathan Gaston. He stopped before pit lane and just kind of parked there. Oh, there he goes. He gets it fired up again. Okay, he gets it fired up. He's going to roll down pit road now. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get a stop in right here. If he does come down pit lane, you got to be careful that the race leaders don't get going. He may be right on their front bumper as we get back to green flag racing here this evening. As we take a look a little farther back here, the 50 rider William George, I believe, will still be in that free pass position, as he's been able to get the quick repair for the Great Lakes Sim number 50 ride, and he'll be back into the action as well. He'll be back into the battle here, and he's not too far away from the 6th rider Brian Underwood, so I'll have to keep a close eye on that one and see how the 50 of William George decides to race these guys here, as he is still currently a lap down out there on the racetrack. But there is a lot of drivers that are currently a lap down, as Farrell Robbins, Jeremy Jeffries are the last 2 drivers on the lead lap, back in 8th and 9th out there on the racetrack, as 10th place, a lap down out there on the racetrack, but Abram Ghostin out in front, did not come down pit road right there. We'll see how this plays out for that number 22 ride, as you do see Jack Fletcher. Oh no, Fletcher was down pit road there for maybe a little too long, and for the rigid 14 ride, he's just rolling back out onto the racetrack. He will lose another lap out there on the speedway. Tough run, tough break there for Jack Fletcher, and obviously for a lot of these drivers, a lot of our playoff drivers, still just trying to get back into the battle, back into the action here this evening. And as William George right now sits in that free pass spot on the speedway, obviously he's going to keep on battling here, trying to get back on a lead lap. That's going to keep Jonathan Elardo out of the lucky dog spot, but we'll see if he can battle his way up here, battle his way around that 50 ride, knowing that that is going to be the fight for the lucky dog spot here on the speedway to get in front of this 50 machine of William George out there on the speedway before a caution flag. They'll be door to door, nice and easy down at corner number 4, as Elardo trying to move into that lucky dog position. Bradley Rubel's right there behind them. Same with Brandon Holder, David Forch there as well in that 30 ride. Ghostin's back a little farther here, as Gaston is back here in that 15th position. Unfortunately, he's quite a bit behind these guys. Unfortunately, doesn't look like he'll be in line for the lucky dog, but another couple caution flags here late in the race could put him right into that position, as out in front we see Brian Underwood able to jump back to the race lead. So Underwood out in front, Isaiah Adams up and into position number 2, Willie Smith there in 3rd with Abram Ghostin trying to hold on to position number 4 right now, as they're 3-4 wide down and through corner number 1 and 2. Oh baby, look at him. Oh, look out, contact. There goes Ghostin. Ghostin's around. Caution flag is back out. Caution flag here. Oh, brother, Abram Ghostin. Obviously, with the older tires here, him and Brandon Holder are going to get tied together, but it's Melvin Brenker. They're just 3-4 wide. We kind of figured this was not going to work out too well for these drivers. See if we get another angle added as, man, that is a sight to see here at Texas Motor Speedway. 4 wide, down it out of corner number 4, and as some of these other drivers start to poke their nose into it, obviously Lardo's up into the fence. The 09 kind of comes down a little bit into the nose of the 22 of Ghostin, and shoves him down across the nose of the 9 right of Melvin Brenger, who then, unfortunately, they get tied together, shoots the 22 down into the 31. Really big hit there for Brandon Holder. Big hit for Abram Gosen as well, but all these other drivers trying to dodge it, trying to avoid it there, and it looks like for Holder, he's going to come down pit road. He's going to earn a black flag coming down pit side as well, and at the time of the caution flag, keep an eye on the 3 ride on the outside, the 50 ride on the inside. I believe for one of our playoff drivers, Jonathan Ilardo, it's going to work out perfectly for them as they get tied together, still leading the Lucky Dog spot here. And I believe the caution flag is about to fly right about, oh, no, still not yet, still not yet. We'll see where the next light is and see if we see it here. The caution should be out by this time. You do see the 3 machine at the front here in front of that 50 ride. And luckily enough for Jonathan Ilardo, that's going to put him into the Lucky Dog position. He will get that free pass. He will get back onto the lead lap here this evening. Now, for a lot of these other drivers, they were hoping to get free passes. They were hoping to get back on a lead lap themselves. Unfortunately, a lot of our race leaders, Underwood, Burke, Sean Merriman, they stay out. So doesn't Jeremy Jeffries in the 1 machine. So as they stay out here on the racetrack, that's going to force them to all fall to the rear of the field for the lap down drivers. For Jonathan Ilardo, he will get the free pass back on the lead lap and now sits in 10th position, ready to rock and roll. As we did see Ryan Cook, we saw Ghostin down pit side. Now Ghostin's been down here for a little extended period of time here, trying to make sure he gets this thing absolutely fixed up, absolutely topped up, and ready to rock and roll here for this restart. This will be the farthest back we've seen this 22 here this evening. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep on battling and try to race his way back to the front of the field as this strategy call here, you know, being a little bit later, obviously didn't want to be a part of this caution flag, but kind of banking on this caution flag should put him in line that he's going to be good on fuel and maybe now has, you know, a few laps better tires than the drivers in front of him here. We'll see if that makes a big difference late in this race, but for right now, Brian Underwood, Wesley Burke, Sean Merriman, they hold down the top spots here this afternoon as Jeremy Jeffries back there in 4th, Isaiah Adams there in 5th, Farrell Robbins, Willie Smith, Brian Cook, Jonathan Ilardo, and Abram Ghostin round out our top 10, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one as our first playoff race of the season here for the Premium Stock Car Racing League. It's been a wild one. It's been crazy here, and as of right now, 2 of our playoff drivers are not out on the racetrack. Did not start here this evening with Grant Wesley and Danny White, and as of right now, I believe Underwood, Burke, Merriman, and Ilardo are the only 4 of our 12 playoff drivers that are in the top 10 right now in this race, that are still on the lead lap even in this race. So 4 playoff drivers out of the other 8 are having a good run and a good day so far here this evening. Now, obviously, we saw Ilardo go a lap down. He's trying to battle back. We saw Underwood got tied up there in that one wreck with the 50 ride of William George, so he's had to use a quick repair up, and obviously we've seen issues and lots of back and forth for a lot of these drivers. But late in this race, I mean, it's still going to be crazy, and now we'll see another crazy battle back here for, obviously, the 11th position, and the next potential lucky dog is William George, Bradley Rubel, David Forch, and Jonathan Gaston all going to get out here for this lucky dog. Unfortunately, Jack Fletcher 2 laps down for Josh Crider. He, unfortunately, is 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. Brandon Holder still down pit road. Looks like his day may be done. Melvin Brenker, multiple laps down, but maybe an extra position there for that number 9 ride. Nathan Williams, multiple laps down, back there in 19th. Looks like Brookover and Brad Neer also done for the day, so a couple of our playoff drivers potentially out of this race early here this evening. A few very multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. Because here we go, back to battle, and out in front, it's Underwood who holds on to the top spot here. Brian trying to get a big run and a big win here this evening as Jordan Hand says, what happened to Josh? Laugh out loud. Unfortunately for Crider, early on, I think right at the end of stage number 1, he had earned a black flag. Basically, as we were going to get ready to go back to green flag racing, he came back down pit road to get topped up on fuel to try to give himself a bit of an edge, earned a black flag down pit side, and as he kind of got rolling back out onto the racetrack, we were going back to green flag racing, so he was already more than half a lap down, had to make that black flag pit stop during green flag action, ended up going 3 laps down out on the racetrack, and then we've seen a lot more drivers, unfortunately, lose laps here this evening. Right now we have a lot of drivers in front of them that are in line for the lucky dogs, and unfortunately for Josh Crider, still finds himself 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. Jack Fletcher's a couple laps down. We've seen Melvin Brangruer early on run into issues. He's multiple laps down. Another playoff driver there, Brandon Holder, just got tied up in his second big wreck of the day. He's down pit side, potentially out of this race. And same with Nathan Brookover in the 7 ride. So a couple of our playoff drivers back there deeper in the field. But as of right now, Jordan, there's only 4 of our 12 playoff drivers inside the top 10 here on the Speedway. And those would be Brian Underwood, Wesley Burke, Sean Merriman there in 5th, and our 10th place driver, Jonathan Elardo. So right now, only 4 playoff drivers inside our top 10. 4 playoff drivers inside the top 12 out there on the racetrack, which has been just absolutely crazy, man. The black flag penalties down pit road, a couple of the early wrecks that we've seen out there on the Speedway, and then here late in this race, man, it's just a dogfight here at the front of the field as Isaiah Adams trying to take the race lead away from Brian Underwood. Underwood's trying to hold on to the top spot. He's got Wesley Burke all over his back bumper, but now potentially a non-playoff driver trying to race their way up here, trying to put themselves into the winner's circle and steal that automatic transfer through into the second round here early on this evening is definitely up for grabs here. Underwood wants this early ticket punched into the second round of our playoffs as Isaiah Adams back there behind me. You see Willie Smith right there as well in this hunt at the front. Brian Cook having himself a great day there in that 78 ride, back in that 5th position, but we see the caution flag come back out. Yellow flag is back out on the Speedway, and it is the 72, Jonathan Gaston, another one of our playoff drivers. Major damage here for the Live Big Autism Awareness number 72 machine, tore up down there, and I do believe we're going to see Bradley Rubel, heavy damage there for the 26th ride. And another caution flag out there on the Speedway, and it looks like potentially, finally, William George may get the lucky dog here back onto the lead lap as he's been battling hard for a long time to get back on the lead lap. Looks like he's finally going to get it, but it looks like Gaston right here kind of gets things kicked off. Looks like maybe washes up the racetrack on corner exit. Oh, nope. The 9 ride of Brengler maybe just came down into his right rear there and hooked him. Let's take a look at it. See what this kind of transpired right here as they're nice and easy down and out at corner number 4. They both start cutting down the racetrack more, but the 9 ride kind of just gets a good run, but then drives right through that right rear quarter panel of Gaston right here. I mean, Gaston doesn't really move up. I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? The 72 is, you can see him get closer and closer to that, white line. He is moving down the racetrack, and I think the 9 just tries to cut the corner a little bit more than what the 72 ride might be rolling. And I think for Gaston, I mean, it's his track. He's in that spot. And unfortunately, Brangro just makes a mistake, drives into him, drives through him, puts him up into the outside fence. Big damage there for the 9. Huge damage for the 72 rider Gaston. You see the 26 rider Rubel gets into that as well. Heavy damage there for him. And unfortunately, that may park Gaston, Rubel, and that 9 ride of Brangler down pit road for an extended period of time here this evening, as, yeah, definitely Melvin coming down right there, and unfortunately kind of right hooking the 72 of Gaston up into the outside fence here, and now we do see Rubles down pit road. We saw, obviously, for Gaston, he's down pit lane, still trying to get that car repaired. He'll fall more laps down here. Brangler, he's going to stay probably down pit road. He had already used that quick repair up, and unfortunately for the 9 ride, looks like his day may be done. Gaston's night may be done. Same with Rubel as well, and it may be a bit of a parking lot down pit lane for the checkered flag here this evening. We already had Brandon Holder down there, and looks like he'll be down for the rest of the night. I believe for Brookover and Brad Neer, they've both been done this race for a while now, and unfortunately back behind pit wall. So we start with 21 drivers. I don't know if we're going to have 15, maybe 16 finish this race, maybe even less than that. It'll be interesting to see, but obviously with the caution flag, we did see William George earn the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap here this evening. That will now move David Forst into the lucky dog position out there on the racetrack. And for David, I mean, he's kind of in a good spot because George back on the lead lap. Bradley Rubel now running into issues. He's going to fall multiple laps down here. Jack Fletcher already 2 laps down, so David really doesn't have to battle anybody for this lucky dog position. If there is another caution flag, he should be in line to get it as long as no one else loses a lap before the next yellow flag. David should get that free pass back on the lead lap here himself and right back into the battle. And I mean, for Josh Crider, I mean, that's some more positions here. Crider early on going 3 laps down, then seeing more drivers lose laps. It looked like he was going to be maybe trapped back there in, 19th, 20th position on the day, and kind of having a bit of a decent race kind of thrown away here in our first race of these playoffs. But he's now sitting in 15th here, and I do believe Bradley Rubel's back behind pit wall here, so he's done for the day as well. So Crider probably going to gain at least another position, jump up into 14th here on the Speedway. I mean, not great, but not awful. It could have been a whole lot worse. Could have been a lot more points at the window here, and obviously with 1, 2, 3, 4 playoff drivers back behind him, I mean, and 2 drivers not here tonight, I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse of a day for Josh Crider, but I don't think this is going to play out as badly as I think he's expecting here, and obviously things going to work out pretty good for that 5 ride. Could have been a bad day. Turns out it's going to be a pretty mediocre day. Not really going to gain anything, but he's going to probably stay above that cut line. He's probably going to still stay inside the top 8 heading to Dover for race number 2 here in our Premium Stock Car Racing League playoffs. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that as here we go back to green flag racing as Underwood. Great launch, great restart is down across the line. They complete lap 153 here on the evening, and it's only 14 laps left to go here from Texas. And the intensity's picking up. Drivers going to be pushing as hard as they can, trying to race their way to the front of the field. But Brian Underwood has this top spot. He's looking to try to keep these guys back there behind him as Isaiah Adams rolls there in second. Willie Smith in third. Jonathan Ilardo's back there in position number 4 with Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Cook, Wesley Burks there in 7th. You do see Farrell Robbins in 8th with Sean Merriman, Abram Ghost in our top 10. Out there on the Speedway, William George is scored in position number 11. Now on the Speedway, trying to race his way up through the top 10 here, trying to hunt down these drivers on the lead lap now with this 50 run, trying to get himself a good, solid finish here this evening. As Underwood, though, out in front, he's got the race lead. He's just hitting his marks, trying to pull away and hope to keep all these drivers back there at bay. As here comes one of our playoff drivers, Jonathan Ilardo, starting to work his way into the picture here for a top 3 performance. The 09 of Wesley Burke trying to drive his way up there. Look out! There goes the 3 machine! Oh no, Abram Ghostin tied up in it. He goes around. Ilardo, heavy damage here late in the race for the 3 machine. For the 30 ride of David Force, that's a great break for him as he'll get the lucky dog back on the lead lap here. But he does end up with some really heavy right front damage. Oh no! Oh brother. Heartbreaker there for Forge as well. As let's take a look back at it. I believe for Ilardo, one of our playoff drivers here, looks like maybe the 1 ride of Jeremy Jeffries. Just gets tight here, down through the middle of corner 1 and 2, pushes up the racetrack, gets into that left rear quarter panel, hooks the 3 machine. And obviously sideways on the racetrack, all these drivers nowhere to go. Cook gets into the back end of the one right. Heavy damage there for all of them. That's where you see David Forge get heavy damage into the door of that 78. Here comes Ghostin. As he slides in there, he gets some pretty solid damage into the 1 and the 3 ride. They all kind of get up, tag each other into the outside fence there. Big damage for Ilardo. Big damage for Jeremy Jeffries. And for a lot of these other drivers getting tied up and tore up out there on the racetrack. And now some more really tore up race cars that are going to be parked down pit side for an extended period of time. And for Jonathan Ilardo, man, this could be a day ender for the 3 machine as well as the 1 of Jeremy Jeffries. See that right front completely busted off. Obviously, you see Ilardo there, heavy damage. David Forch, he's down pit side. Looks like it may be day over for this 30 ride as well. For Jack Fletcher, I mean, didn't get tied up in that yellow flag, but he's 2 laps down. Bless me there, chat. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Jack Fletcher is 2 laps down, but he should get the wave around right here. As the first car a lap down that was not a part of that caution flag, and there it is. He will get the free pass, so he does get a lap back. Now, obviously, he's going to need another quick caution flag to try to gain at least another lap here, but, I mean, he may gain some more positions. Ghostin, though, down pit side. We'll see if you can get this car repaired, man. Such a good run. Won the first stage of the day. Second there in stage 2. Led a ton of laps here this evening. Now some late race issues for this 22 ride. Unfortunately, kind of has him chasing right now. He's kind of chasing the game, trying to put himself into a good position, still trying to finish off this race strong. Unfortunately, getting tied up there in that last issue. Going to definitely set him back a little bit more out there on the racetrack, but nonetheless, he'll be down there. We'll see if he gets back out onto the racetrack, if he stays on the lead lap and in the fight here this evening. But as of right now, I'm not sure if he is or isn't. But for Brian Underwood, Isaiah Adams, Willie Smith, Wesley Burke, Brian Cook, Farrell Robbins, Sean Merriman, and William George. Our top 8 still on the lead lap, all ready to see the green flag fly and get ready to go back to battle here in this one. As our race leaders head down the front straightaway here, we got to keep a close eye on Abram Ghostin, as Ghostin, looks like he's just able to leave pit road, trying to get this thing repaired, trying to get it back into good racing condition here for late in this race, as able to just get out in front of the pace car, able to get some good repairs there. We'll see if that 22 ride can catch back up into the field here, get in line for this restart, and try to put himself into a good position late in this race. Now for the number 14 of Jack Fletcher, he's still 1 lap down, but he's in line for the lucky dog. And talking about Josh Crider and how he's been able to leapfrog some of those other drivers that have, unfortunately had, bad turn of events and late race wrecks and issues here, and being 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. He's been 3 laps down for probably about 100 laps of this race or better, with Ilardo and Jeffries both down pit road with heavy damage. I don't think either driver is getting back into this race. Josh Crider is going to work his way into the minimum right now, into 11th position. 3 laps down in 11th. My gosh. Things could not have been worse for the 5 ride, but they could not have kind of played out better for him late in this race, with all the carnage, with all the tore up race cars here, and obviously a lot of these drivers having early exits of this race. He's gained a ton of positions, but no laps back out there on the racetrack, which is absolutely incredible. But obviously, you see this field is virtually cut in half here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Here they go. Big restart for the number 6 of Brian Underwood. As down across the line, they'll complete lap 159, and we only have 8 laps left to go here in this feature event. 8 more laps left to duke it out. I'm not sure if the wrecking is done yet. They still have time. There still may be a few drivers that get tore up and tied up, as there's still heavy damage here on the 78 ride of Brian Cook. He's able to just fall to the rear of the field, keeps on battling though, as you see Wesley Burke trying to battle his way around that number 75 of Willie Smith. He will make that pass for second and now look to go after Brian Underwood here as they complete lap 160. 7 laps left to go here in this one. Burke pushes up the racetrack. Here comes Willie Smith back down to the inside. Door to door there for position number 2. They're going to scrub a little bit down and out out of 2 as you see Underwood trying to swerve out there on the racetrack, trying to put himself into a good position. Here comes William George late in this race, showing the speed that he's had in this 50 ride as he's going to storm right on by a bunch of these drivers down the back straightaway, and William George going to race his way up inside the top 3 here. Here comes the 4 ride, looking to battle back, looking to try to get to the inside of this 50 ride. He will get there through the bottom side of corner number 1 and 2, but look for a big run the outside lane for the 50 ride down the back straightaways. Underwood and Burke continuing to lead the charge here this evening as they're 3 wide right there behind them. Look at Willie Smith on the high side. The 76 right in the middle is Farrell Robbins, and the 18 is Sean Merriman, another one of our playoff drivers back there in position number 5 here on the Speedway. Abram Gostin scored in 8th. Brian Cook back in 9th, and the first car 1 lap down scored in 10th place is Jack Fletcher. Josh Crider now into 11th, as I do believe we only have 11 or 12 drivers still rolling out there on the racetrack, but out in front late in this race, it's Brian Underwood who's got the race lead. Underwood holds on to the top spot. Burke there in second, trying to hunt him down, trying to take this late race lead, but either way, great points day here for Brian Underwood, Wesley Burke, Sean Merriman, and yeah, that's our top 3 playoff performers still on the lead lap here this evening. The only 3 playoff drivers on the lead lap. For Jack Fletcher, he's the 4th highest running playoff driver, scored back in 10th, 1 lap down. Josh Crider, 3 laps down, is our 5th best playoff driver here this evening. Absolutely incredible stuff here today, as out in front, though, it's Underwood who's got the race lead with only 3 laps left to go. You see Burke right there. William George is right there. He's going to try to make some moves, see if he can work his way out in front. What an incredible comeback it would be for this 50 ride to steal the win away from these drivers here this evening, as he is right here, right in the thick of it, trying to make some moves as you see Burke able to work his way up and into the top spot, slides around Brian Underwood. Underwood right back to his rear bumper here in position number 2. He'll look back down to the inside, to the outside, looking to try to make a move for the race lead. Here comes that 50 of William George. He'll work down low, and here comes that 4 of Isaiah Adams as well. Adams right there into the thick of it. Merriman, the 75 of Willie Smith. The action is not done yet. We still got a lot of racing left to go here. Not a lot, but a few laps left here in this race, and the craziness may not be done just as of yet. It's nice and easy back down across the line. They will see the white flag fly. So the final lap here this evening, Wesley Burke out in front, William George in position number 2. Does George have enough in him to try to make a move to steal this win away from the 09 of Wesley Burke here this evening? Burke down into corner number 3, the 50 ride working to his back bumper as they head down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. George can't get there as Wesley Burke will pick up the dub here at Texas. Burke gets it done, picks up the win, and will pull the Blue Bulls 09 ride up and into victory lane, man. What a run, what a race for our first playoff race of the season. You can see the excitement out of that 09 ride of Wesley Burke as he's shaking the car around. He's pretty ecstatic. I mean, first playoff win of the season, locked in now to, I believe, round number 2 of the playoffs for that 09 ride of Wesley Burke. William George, incredible comeback for him, able to come home in second. For Brian Underwood, holds on to a top 3 performance. Great points stayed there for that Rumpel Men's machine. Isaiah Adams back and forth. Sean Merriman, our top 5. Good points run for Merriman as well, but no one better than this number 09 ride of Wesley Burke here this evening. As we started with 21 drivers here this evening, I believe 12 drivers went across the checkered flag here this afternoon. So we had a lot of drivers, unfortunately, with early exits. Obviously, we saw some of these drivers like Nathan Williams, who was, about 14 laps down, 13 laps down, unfortunately back there in the 15th position. He was able to get back into the race and keep on battling here, so he did finish this race. I mean, Crider was 3 laps down back in 11th. He finishes this race, and for Jack Fletcher being 1 lap down, finishes back there in that 10th position. But a crazy day here for all these drivers, a crazy day for our playoff competitors, and a great day here for our playoff driver coming into the playoffs. Scored in position number 3 here with the bonus points and everything else. It looks like he's going to be the first one to punch his ticket into the second round of the playoffs here this evening, as we'll take a quick look here, see if we get our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. There they are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Wesley Burke. Hey, Wesley, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yo, what's up?
Not much, Wesley, man. What a run. What a race for you here this evening, brother. Take us back through this one, as there was obviously a lot of craziness here tonight, man. There was a lot of action out there on the racetrack and a lot of green flag pit stops where we saw a numerous amount of black flags down pit road. A lot of our playoff drivers running into issues here this evening, and late in this race, you're able to just bide your time, come down pit road, put on that final set of fresh tires, and race your way up here, work your way around Brian Underwood late in this race, hold off William George there through those closing couple laps, and you pull this Blue Bulls ride up and into victory lane, brother. Take us back through it, and what's going through your mind?
I mean, like, to begin with, I kind of burned my right front up for the first few runs. And then I figured it out, and I pit too early in stage 1, or stage 3 right there, on that green flag run. I just pit too early, and he had the pressure tires, so there was nothing I could do. And then he got lucky with the way the wreck happened. He got a spot back, and pretty sure I still ended up getting out ahead of him. I just got kind of unlucky with how it was, with like the people being really aggressive, and I'm trying to save fuel, and then a caution happened, so it didn't matter. There was no saving fuel. And then I was like, okay, yeah, let me just try something. He's been just a little bit quicker than me all night, so I just wanted to see what would happen if I took 4. And I did it, and got the caution when I got up to 4th. And I tried to go around the outside 1 and 2, and then I realized, no, I'm in an ARCA car. There's not enough speed. So I cut it down, got to the inside there, and yeah. So.
Yeah, well, it works out perfectly for you as you get to celebrate here at Texas for our first playoff race of the season. Obviously, for yourself coming in as one of the playoff drivers, you see only, I believe, 3 other playoff competitors finish inside our top 10 here this evening. So a great points day for yourself, but at the same point in time, I believe with this win, you have locked your way into that second round of these playoffs, man. What does it mean to be able to, head into Dover, head into Daytona, and not have stress about, being tied up in an early issue, getting taken out, and potentially getting, eliminated here in the first round of these playoffs this season?
There was matter. Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, this is my first race on my new pedals and wheel. Just got the R5, it was an R5 bundle. Like, haven't even really tested it out. Like, just got in the race with like 15 minutes of practice left, and then qualified and did the race. And I love this new wheel and stuff. It feels really good. Usually I hate coming to these types of tracks in the ARCA car. It's just always usually really tight, but it didn't really feel that. It felt really good.
Well, it looked really good as well out there on the racetrack as you get to celebrate here at Texas. Wesley, who would you like to thank for such a great run, strong performance out there on the racetrack as you pull this Blue Bulls ride up and into Texas Motor Speedway victory lane?
I'd like to shout out my teammate Melvin, and obviously you up in the booth for putting on these broadcasts. I always have something to go back and watch.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Wesley, great run, great race here this evening, brother. Congratulations on the win. We can't wait to see you back out there in 2 weeks' time for Dover International Speedway, man, for another great race, another great performance here for the Premium Stock Car Racing League. And hopefully, maybe we'll see you right back up here into victory lane in 2 weeks' time. But also enjoy your Mother's Day weekend off, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack, in 2 weeks.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Absolutely, you as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Wesley Burke, as Burke picks up the dub here in this one as we'll get running out to pull in our second place finisher, the 50 rider, William George. Hey, William, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yep, got a good copy.
William, man, great run, great race for yourself here this evening, brother. Obviously, a lot of craziness here throughout this race. We saw early on here, you come down pit road on lap number 30 as everyone else was somehow good on fuel there in that first stage, either making pit stops throughout the first couple yellows that we saw out there on the racetrack or saving enough there during yellow. They were able to make it to the end of the stage, and it traps you, unfortunately, a lap down out there on the racetrack. And it took you a long time to get yourself back onto the lead lap, even with trying to battle with the race leaders there, trying to stay on the lead lap through a little bit of pit strategy throughout that long green flag run in this third stage, and then getting tied up between you and our race leader at the time, Brian Underwood, and bringing out a caution flag there yourselves. But luckily enough, a few more yellows, you get the lucky dog, you finally get back on a lead lap, and here you are late in this race, storming your way up through the traffic and up and in to position number 2 here this evening. Brother, take us back through this one. What's going to go through your mind after 167 laps of craziness here at Texas Motor Speedway?
Well, let me just give a quick shout out to TJ for this awesome paint scheme, and thanks for him. Thanks to all the league admins for letting me come and race with them. And if I kind of piss some people off, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to stay on the lead lap, but that whole race was just crazy. But I was trying to pull some pit strategy in the beginning, and I ended up messing myself over. So, yeah, it was just a hard battle. Like, I was doing everything I could to do some strategy, try to stay out in front of the leaders, do what I could. And luckily, a little luck on my side, got a podium. So happy about it.
Yeah.
Because I really thought my race was over.
Yeah, it definitely worked out really good for you here in this one. And I mean, there's a lot of drivers that probably thought their nights were done, that their, issues out there were going to be too much to overcome, as there was just so much going on here, especially throughout that first stage with a couple wrecks, a couple issues, and then we saw, obviously, green flag pit stops there in stage number 2, and there was a numerous amount of black flags down pit side. So all of a sudden you go from, being, 1 or 2 cars a lap down to now all of a sudden there's 7 or 8 cars 1 lap down, and you got to just keep on battling for those lucky dogs. And unfortunately there for a while it seemed like every time we catch a caution flag, someone would go a lap down just in front of you, earn the lucky dog, and unfortunately keep you trapped back there, and never really had a chance to take a wave around or anything else, with the leaders staying out, and just kind of kept you trapped there for a very long time. But it ended up working out perfectly for you. I don't know if you had an extra set of tires saved up there late in this race to be able to throw onto the 50 ride that gave you that extra edge to really just jump up, make moves around, Adams, Underwood, Merriman, and a lot of these other drivers throughout this top 10.
Oh, definitely. Like I did save a pair of tires, so that definitely helped out. And I was definitely going to give them a run for the money at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we saw there in the final couple laps, as you were able to get around Underwood and start to go after Wesley Burke, I mean, did you think maybe you were going to have a shot, an opportunity to maybe give him a bump down through 3 and 4, move him up out of the way, try to steal that win away from him here late in this race? Or what was kind of going through your mind of those closing laps, knowing that you potentially had a chance and an opportunity to steal this win?
Ouch. I wanted to bump him, but I'm not like that. I don't race rough unless I'm like desperate. And I'm not going to wreck the leader. I'm not going to chance that. So, I thought I had a good shot on the outside. Didn't work out. Ended up getting a little tight. Third place kind of caught me a little bit. Then had a real first place in, and hopefully he would have left the bottom open for me, but that's not the case. But it's all good. Congrats to him.
Yeah, great race there for Burke. Obviously, a much-needed win for him. Obviously, being a part of our playoffs here, had punched his ticket into the second round of these playoffs. And for yourself, non-playoff driver, able to come in here, play a little bit of a spoiler, and steal some points away from some of our other playoff competitors here this evening. William, congrats on the second run. Congrats on the great second-place performance out there on the racetrack here at Texas Motor Speedway, brother. Who would you like to thank for a great performance and a great battle here all night long?
Again, I want to thank TJ for making this paint scheme, and I want to thank all the league admins for, again, accepting me towards the end of the season. It's not often I get to race because I'm a deputy and I'm also in the military, so it's kind of hard to balance all that out, race at the same time. So again, I want to thank Underwood for taking me in, and let me race with everybody.
Absolutely. Well, William, great run, great drive here this evening, brother. We look forward to seeing you back in action again in 2 weeks' time as we're off next Saturday night for Mother's Day weekend. So we'll see you back out there in 2 weeks at Dover International Speedway.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, William George, as we get ready now to pull in our third place driver, the number 6 of Brian Underwood. Hey, Brian, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Brian, man, strong run, great race for you here all night long as we saw you duking it out here at the front of the field pretty much all evening between yourself and Wesley Burke, that 22 ride of Abram Ghost. And, man, you guys put on a heck of a show for majority of this race. And then, obviously, there's a lot of craziness out there. I don't know if you knew what all was going on with how many black flags were being handed out and how many drivers were getting tore up and taken out of this race. As we started 21 drivers, I think there was still only 12 drivers that finished across the line here this evening. Only 9 on the lead lap here today. But, man, it was a wild afternoon. I don't know if it was a full moon, but definitely felt like it out there on the speedway.
Yeah, definitely a wild race. Felt good about the race. I had a lot of speed. Just being patient, pick the right spots, get stage points, and see where I was at the final stage. Just unfortunately, I didn't have the set of tires I needed there to hold them off. Overall, good race. Everybody racing up front was great. The battles between Burke, Abram, I thought he was going to be the guy to beat tonight. I don't know what happened. I think he got involved in a wreck, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I didn't really see much of the carnage besides watching race labs and see all the cars stopped on the track. So yeah, a few playoff drivers had a rough night. Some got lucky because a lot wrecked out, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely a very odd one, a very crazy one for all of our playoff drivers here this evening. And yeah, Ghosted, unfortunately, there late in this race got tied up in a couple late race issues, late race wrecks there, and unfortunately ended up having to settle for a 7th place run. But a great performance by that 22 ride here this evening. But a great race for yourself. And you talked about some of the carnage there. You got kind of tied up in a little bit of that carnage, as well as William George. I mean, he was a lap down for a lot here in this race, trying to battle for that lucky dog position, played a little bit of pit strategy, got out in front of you guys during one of those green flag pit stops throughout this final stage of the day, and all of a sudden he's kind of parked on your nose. You're trying to work your way around him to not only put him a lap down, but trying to pull away from the rest of the drivers back behind you. And he made some really aggressive moves there, some big moves to throw some blocks on you to kind of keep you back at bay, trying to keep himself on the lead lap. And all of a sudden, down into corner number 1, you guys make a little bit of contact. He gets loose, shoots down to the apron, then cuts back up the racetrack and slams right into you, where it puts you into the outside fence and causes you to end up having to use, probably your quick repair here late in this race.
Yeah, luckily I had it, so it didn't hurt me there. Yeah, it's just, I had a second lead on the second place there, just trying to gain on it, and just felt like I kept getting pinch blocked, whatever you want to call it, and I was like, well, if you want to stay in front, I'll push you going in and turn in and make the move, but I'll take fault at that one, because I think I got him in the left rear more than anything. But yeah, it probably ended up helping him, because I think he rebounded, got second, so sucks. I never know what would happen if caution didn't come out. Might have been a better spot. But it is what it is. You just move on and move to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all you can do. And now, obviously, we're off next weekend for Mother's Day weekend. So it'll be a couple weeks before we see you guys back in on the racetrack there at Dover for another amazing show, another amazing race, maybe another crazy one like we saw here tonight. But Brian, heck of a run, heck of an effort for you. Some good stage points and a good solid third-place performance while other playoff drivers ran into issues. You park it up here on the podium, brother. Who would you like to thank for a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
yeah, I thank you for putting on the show, and then everybody that showed up this week. Like I said, it's pretty fun racing this week. And then Josh, admin, we put a lot of work into this last year. Looking forward to next season, and my teammates, Nathan Williams coming back after he had his tour and all that. So it's great to have him back. And then Brookover, he might be having his child possibly today. So congratulations possibly on that. And yeah, that's it.
Beauty. Well, great run, great race for you tonight, Brian. Congrats on the third place performance. We look forward to seeing you guys back out there in 2 weeks, brother. Enjoy your weekend off, enjoy your Mother's Day, and we'll see you guys back out there at Dover.
Yes, sir. You too.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place performer, Brian Underwood. As Underwood comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Good run, solid run there for that number 6 ride, as Underwood comes home with a pretty good finish, top 3 performance. Good day at the Speedway there for that number 6 machine here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here this evening. The crazy action, the racing action, unfortunately, has concluded here this evening, and that means we're going to call it a night there on that note. We can't thank you guys enough, though, for tuning in and showing the love here this evening. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, any shares here this evening as well. We appreciate each and every single one of you for showing up and showing the love here this evening as the first playoff race of the Premium Stock Car Racing League here at Texas Motor Speedway comes to a close in crazy fashion here today as Wesley Burke picks up the dub. We can't congratulate him and the rest of the field enough for some great racing, some great action here this afternoon. We can't wait to see you guys back in here, back in the grandstands, as we'll be back up here in the broadcast booth again tomorrow for a doubleheader. We got the Outcast Racing League at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and shortly after that we have our Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League there at 8. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and make sure you turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Engines roar, the night ignites, rubber burns under neon lights, chrome shining, stars align, dreams hit the track, now it's grind time. Wrapped tight, tailpipes glow, pit stop precision, gotta keep that flow. Crowds a jungle, hearts in the choke, lap by lap, adrenaline spoke. Speed kings, chasing that checkered crown. Under the moon, we don't slow down. Saturday nights, we ride, we fly. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels, heat from the asphalt raw and real. Tracks a snake, it twists and winds, grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal, victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms, the checkered flag, it seals the room. Premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. asphalt raw and real. Track's a snake, it twists and winds. Grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal. Victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms. The checkered flag, it seals the room. We ride, we fly, premium league, we touch the sky. Pedal to metal, no brakes in sight. Racing forever in the glowing night. V8 screaming, thunder on wheels. Heat from the asphalt, raw and real. Track's a snake, it twists and winds. Grip the wheel, leave fear behind. Spotlights dance, tires squeal. Victory's close, you can almost feel. Pulse is wild, the finish looms. The checkered flag, it seals the room.